the heart of Ikot Anang, where the earth was red like fired clay and the air carried the scent of palm wine and wet raffia leaves, the people believed one thing above all others. The ancestors never truly leave. They only learn how to listen. Ikot Anang was not a small village, nor was it large. It rested quietly between thick forests and a slow-moving stream that glistened under the sun like a silver snake. Every footpath had a story. Every tree had a name. And every drumbeat carried memory. Among the villagers lived a young man named Akpan. Akpan was known for his silence. He was tall but lean, with calm eyes that seemed older than his years. His head was half-shaved, while the remaining hair was woven into long, neat braids tied at the tips with cowrie shells. Children often stared at him. Elders often watched him, yet few truly knew him. Akpan lived alone in a small mud house at the far edge of the village. His parents had died when he was still a boy, taken by a strange sickness during one harsh rainy season. Since then, the village had raised him collectively, but loneliness had chosen him as its companion. What kept Akpan alive was the drum. Every evening when the sky turned orange and birds returned to the nests, Akpan would sit beneath an old udara tree and play. Not loudly, not proudly, slowly, carefully, as though he was speaking to someone who listened without interrupting. The elders noticed something unusual. Whenever Akpan played, arguments ended. Crying children became quiet. Even angry men paused to listen. But no one spoke about it, except Eka Iban. Eka Iban was the oldest woman in Ikot Anang. Her back was bent, her hair white like ash, and her walking stick was carved with ancient symbols passed down for generations. She had seen 4 village heads rise and fall. She watched Akpan closely. One afternoon she called him to her compound. "My son," she said, her voice thin but sharp. "Who taught you to play like that?" Akpan shook his head. "No one, Eka. I just hear it." Eka Iban nodded slowly. "That is what I feared," she murmured. The rise of fear. At the time Chief Okokon ruled Ikot Anang, once he had been a fair man, strong, respected. His voice used to calm disputes and unite families. But power like palm wine left too long in the sun had begun to sour him. He took land without consultation. He favored his relatives in judgments. He silenced elders who questioned him. And the people noticed. They whispered in the farms. They murmured by the stream, but never in the open. Fear had learned to live among them. Chief Okokon also noticed something else. People listened when Akpan played. That disturbed him. What power does a poor orphan think he has? The chief scoffed one night, sipping palm wine. A drum does not lead men. But deep inside, fear scratched his heart. The awakening of the drum. One night, when the moon hung low and heavy, something happened. No one saw how it began. They only heard it. Boom! Boom! Ta-ta-boom! The sound cut through the darkness like thunder. Villagers ran out of their huts holding lanterns. Dogs barked. Babies cried. The sound was coming from the ancestral square, the place where the most sacred drum of Ikot Anang rested, the Mbok. That drum had not been played in decades, yet it was sounding by itself. Eka Iban fell to her knees. "The ancestors are restless," she whispered. At dawn she sent for Akpan. "My son," she said, leading him to the old shrine, "the drum has chosen you." She explained that the Mbok only spoke when injustice grew too loud for silence to carry. "But beware," she warned. "Truth makes enemies before it makes peace." Akpan swallowed hard. The first revelation. That evening the village gathered. Chief Okokon sat proudly on his carved stool. Elders surrounded him. The Mbok was brought to the center. Akpan stepped forward, his hands trembling. He struck the drum. The rhythm was slow at first, then sharp. The sound carried meaning. Suddenly, murmurs spread. The drum spoke of farmland taken from a widow, of yams collected as tax but never shared, of judgments twisted in favor of the chief's bloodline. Faces turned pale. Chief Okokon stood up, furious. "Enough!" he shouted. "This boy is lying!" He ordered Akpan seized. The drum fell silent. The price of silence. Akpan was locked away, and Ikot Anang began to suffer. The rains delayed, crops yellowed, the stream shrank. Elders argued, women cried, children fell sick. Eka Iban gathered the council. "We have chained truth," she said firmly, "and truth does not forgive easily." They freed Akpan. The final beat. On the final night, Akpan returned to the square. He did not look angry. He did not look proud. He looked tired. He played the drum one last time. This time it did not accuse. It warned. Chief Okokon collapsed, overcome by shame. He confessed. The people removed him. Peace slowly returned. The ending Akpan refused leadership. "I am only a messenger," he said. He returned to his quiet life, and the drum rested again. But the people never forgot, because sometimes the loudest truth comes from silence. In Ikot Anang, the drum still sleeps, but when injustice rises, it will remember how to speak.